my boy! Wimp.
I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia.
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light. All the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Watt, don't be a cunt.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for B4.
What can I do? People know the truth.
Shut the fuck up.
What's true? That's why we gotta shine a light. Oh, shine a light, shine a light. We gotta shine a light. Oh, yeah. Together forever. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. The Unity Channel. Zero News to now. Tom Generation Next. It's gonna shine a light. With you. Generation X.
Morning everyone, I'm Tom Fury, this is your news. Just give me a second to catch up. I want to try and see if, I don't know how long I'm going to be on today. Depends on whether this stream holds out this time, as it was a nightmare last time. So, but if I can, if it does hold up, then I want to be able to see the chat properly. So on this fine morning, let's put this up here so we're a bit more at face level. There we go. Now it doesn't look like you're looking at my fucking nose every 5 seconds. Hey Steve, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. Good morning, mate. Good morning. So I don't want to upset anybody with what I've got to say today. So I've been thinking about it. I'm very not awake this morning. I'm not feeling 100%. So please excuse me. I might be a bit slower than normal, but and so no high production values either. But and I don't know if I'm going to be making another video today. But I did want to come to my first conclusion about Israel, the government, and the FNAP thing and all the rest of it, because I kind of want to initial thoughts, draw a line under it, because there are other subjects that need covering at the moment. Carrying them research in the background, come back to it. I don't want to be obsessed with one subject when there's so many going on. But at the same time, all learning carries on at the same time. But I don't want the videos to become centric on anything when we've got so many problems. If it's going to be centric on something, it is saving the country, and that means multiple different things. So I don't want to keep dwelling on certain subjects until, like I say, until I've done the next round of research or whatever. But good morning, mate. Good morning, Dibbles. But I did want to say, yesterday was an example. Now, I know you're always going to get some people that are going to hate on us for it, and I'm talking about people from FNAP community, CivNAP community, but you're especially going to get, say, some Tommy followers, and bear in mind, I've got no issue with Tommy the man. I've got more issue with the way people think that he can do no wrong, whereas anybody involved in anything can do wrong and does, and so it's the hero worship that buries people, and that's why so people think, oh, he's turned on him now. Now if I turned on him, you'd know about it. But it's not a case of that. It's a case of saying there is a problem with Israel. He does have Tommy. Look, it's not just Tommy. Because this is the thing. I think because his name is brought up because we all know him. Everybody's assuming it's a Tommy thing. It's not just Tommy. There are loads of people, whether it's Saudi Arabia, especially Saudi Arabia, but Israel as well, who are getting ties, whether it's monetary deals. I'm not saying Tommy's got monetary deals. How would I know that? I'm saying a lot of these people are getting ties and everything else. And the first question you ask from a non-Jewish person is why? That's it, just why? And I've never heard a why from many of these people. A lot of them are people of celebrity kind of status, and they never really give you a why. And don't get me wrong, like, I do feel, as I've said before, that there's some sense that I do think some people are just afraid of another World War II scenario. So am I. Like, the worrying thing is that the people that are trying to criticize Israel for the right reasons, there's always been on the internet and continues to be a presence of people on the left and right that just hate Jews. And you can see them on the, not on our comments so much, but you can see them out there. I've seen them for years, and just hate everybody. And those are the people I didn't want. But what I've found is a lot more of them are not in this country. A lot more of them are in America than I realised. They come on these comments, but they're not home. They're not in the UK, which is something I've had to learn over time. But yeah, there's a lot of it that goes on, which is what I didn't want to draw to this channel. I wanted the criticism to stay where it should belong, and it has mostly. So, because the thing is as well, like, you know, what we had on this channel yesterday, and I forgot to mention a couple of groups of people, but we had FNATs, CivNats, you know, Tommy followers, we had people, independents like me, and we had Jewish people on the channel. Everybody was talking. Everybody. That's, you know, and what we're talking about when we're talking about unity here, we can go back to the petty squabbles about this and that after an election, about the particulars, about the semantics of shit, if we really need to. But ultimately, I think the unity I'm talking about is winning an election and being on side enough to fix the country, and to stop foreign invaders from keep fucking with our country, so that we can finally be left the fuck alone to have the society that our ancestors really did fight and bleed for, even if they did or didn't know where it was going. We should be living in relative luxury today, and yet we know we're going to be handing off a world in which kids may not get an upgrade like we did. That's one of the first times in history. So a lot of us feel a duty as well. So, you know, I'm never going to say, oh, let's come together with the guy that likes the Austrian painter and thinks that death camps are great. We're never going to get along, ever. But most people aren't like that. They're just not. I've met a couple like it in my time on the internet. I've met a couple like who were deadly serious, and we actually had some very civil conversations because I really wanted to find out if they really truly believed it at heart, and they were totally serious. But most people aren't, and they'd be squeamish at the idea if they were really faced with it. So, but yeah, you do worry about getting yourself in that situation again, because you do see it on the left and the right, especially the left, to be honest with you. They deny it, but it's there. But with that said, that can't dissuade us from looking at the more influential people who are a part of the hardcore, who are part of the government tendrils, if you like, that are doing things and are affecting things. just by reaction alone, by many people, Steve, not you, many people, to even talking about Israel has shown me that there's definitely something to investigate. Before we even go into the particulars, definitely, because certain people in certain prominent positions are too quick to defend, too quick to overreach. With me, you'd be surprised at what I've got in the background telling me to shut the fuck up. Too quick to try and silence that down. And just from bringing the subject up, along with Saudi, by the way, as an equal, because Saudi is right there, out in the open doing it. They don't give a shit. Yeah, so don't think they're ever going to get forgotten, because they, yeah. Anyway, both, yeah. But with Israel, the reaction of people, it's not about the Jews, it's about the Israeli government, but still they persist in defending. Now that does make me fucking suspicious. And the way that they're defending, you know, like he who protesteth too much, these people are coming out like firebrands trying to chomp at anybody with any criticism. What is that about? Why? What is it that they are defending? When you're defending that, you're defending something that means something to you. You're not Jewish, you're not anything to do with that. You've got problems on your own doorstep. Why aren't you defending Croatia or Latvia or Dagestan? They're all defending Israel. I'm just saying they are. So, and there's this massive, like I say, as soon as you say anything bad, there's massive. Now, if I say something bad about Christianity, if I say something bad about Islam, the same thing doesn't happen, except from the Islamic world. But you know what I'm saying? The same thing doesn't happen, generally speaking. Even if I attack Christianity at the moment, people aren't going to like it, but they're going to leave it alone. So it seems that there's a governmental, and the part for me that Steve's helped, but the part for me I was still trying to work out is the spiritual side of it. But I don't know it's necessarily, like, I need to understand it too much, because it's not so much about understanding every bit of minutiae, it's understanding how much influence they're having on a country and how much we need to stop. And by the looks of it, when it comes to TV, movie, politics, we actually do need to remove Israel's influence. Absolutely. When it comes to other things, like the sports, the cultural norms. So I also think Saudi needs to be removed, but they won't be. Saudi won't be removed because they're using the capitalism way of coming in. Nobody's going to stop them, because all of our businesses are just going belly up and saying, yeah, give us your money, we'll sell. They're making ridiculous offers that won't pay back for years, or if at all, to do this. And they're buying our culture up. One, to bring themselves into the modern world, but two, to drag us. And, you know, but what scares me is in the patterns I'm seeing, and maybe this is where I've gone wrong. Maybe someone can help me with this, but maybe with this is where I've gone completely wrong. If I didn't know any better, bear in mind, I'm like many of you, I'm coming into this from a different angle. I'd almost think that Israel and Islam were in cahoots. But that doesn't make any fucking sense, because they're enemies. They're enemies, right? So I've got that wrong, haven't I? But if I was looking at any other map, please understand, if I just took all the names away, and I just took all the names away, and I imagined that none of it meant anything other than just watch the patterns, and it just felt like, my God, if this was any other scenario, I'd be looking at this as being a dual plan, that both countries were not trying to interfere against each other. It looked like they were trying to interfere with each other, because it was almost perfectly not bouncing into each other in the areas you would expect. They were covering different areas, so there's no overlap, there's no bounce. Why? That's you would think if someone's fighting for something, the other one would hit them dead on in the same area, and yet they don't overlap. Almost like cogs are in different places. But they don't. They wouldn't work. Like, I really don't know. I'm probably making a fool of myself saying this. But what I do know is it definitely warrants more inquiry. And Israel has got my attention. That Israel the government, and you know, the very prominent Israelis, not Jews, Israelis. Let's just be very clear, because I don't want this to become a fucking Jew hunt. I really don't. And if it turns into that, I'll walk away. It has to be facts, governments, yeah. But yeah, it definitely warrants further inquiry, because it's just too much. Unfortunately, people are too quick to defend. There's too much of a betrayal, and there's too much honesty out there. What's amazing is you don't need to look at conspiracy theories. You actually just need to go to the right Israeli leaders and go to the right people. They're actually being quite open about their effect on politics in the Western world. It's not hidden. I thought it would all be hidden underground. Some of it probably is, but a lot of it's like freely available. That was what really surprised me. So just like Saudi, it's not overly hidden. So the effect that Israel's having on our politics is huge. And I didn't realize, in some ways, and this is probably where I'm going to lose people again, them in the European Union, in some ways there's no difference, in some ways, in terms of what they're trying to do to the culture, or the culture wars, the cultural revolution. I've been saying that someone has been trying for the last, 6-7 years. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably making a fool of myself with my lack of knowledge. So you've got to start somewhere. This is where I'm starting. And as far as the FNAT, CivNat thing, to draw a line under that for the time being, people have come on. Most people, when we had that conversation, were really cool. And whether you were supporting Tommy, whether you were just supporting civic nationalism, whether you're supporting ethnic nationalism, I think we had a really good conversation. And I think, certain people were, after the fact, were trying to pick up our conversation and say, we'll never move. But these tend to be the more extreme people. But the truth of it is that we don't need to be unified forever in a way where anybody has to give any ground. It doesn't have to be like that if you don't want it to be. We can resume our trivial differences at the end of it. But now we know what we know about each other. I think it's probably our duty to. We don't even have to help each other. We just need to vote for each other, with each other. Does that make sense? To make sure that we keep out those crazy bastards from power. If we achieve that together, we've done more than anybody previous. And, as I said, I see people as nationalists. And if, like I say, for the very few, the 1% that go for the Austrian painter, they're not welcome. But the people that truly aren't, the people that truly are more worried about themselves than they are about hating others, those are the people I'm interested in, and it seems to be the majority. So, and that's kind of where I'm at with everything. But I realise what sensitive ground this is. I don't want to create a hunt. I don't, that's not what it's about. But at the same time, I think this is why people have got annoyed. I think this is why people have called this out. It's because they're sick of treading on eggshells. And I think this is why people have got annoyed at certain figures in our movement and not calling certain shit out, because they're quick to call out every single thing a Muslim does. But they're not quick to call out an entire government for trying to influence our country. And I do see the double standard. I do see it. And and what does it say about their allegiance to our country? I don't know what it says about their allegiance to our country, because I don't know what deals they are or aren't making. What I do know is I am, maybe this is biased from being when I was a boy, I am super dubious, super scared of any Middle Eastern country, regardless of how much more developed it may be than other countries around it, of any Middle Eastern country having a hand in our politics or in our culture. I'm sorry, but compared to us, they're fucking barbarians, a lot of them. Yes, some of them have got more technology than that. Whoopie-doo. Whoopie-fucking-doo. I'm sorry, you won't like it, but the Middle Eastern countries, especially the ones that won't reform their religions and stuff, until they've caught up, we need to stay the fuck away from them. You know, and a lot of people will call it racist to say that a lot of these Muslims, for instance, are, you know, people call them cousin shaggers and that. And it's like, oh, that's terrible. You have a place called Dagestan. If you look at the UFC at the moment, there's a lot of prominent fighters since Habib Magomedov won the title and became one of the most famous fighters in the world. You've had Dagestani after Dagestani. They seem to have this genetic ability from a population of only, I think it was 3 million, maybe 1 million, right up in the Russian hills. All these Muslims seem to have this same ability. So 1 to 3 million of these Muslims up the top of this mountain versus the entire world's population, and they're dominating the sport. How is that? They are literally, these people are literally in cousins. It's not a slur. It's a way of life in some places. It really is. And you can see it in the UFC as an example of it. And people who comment on it are called this and called that and called this. But if you watch the UFC and you see it, and then you look at the trace back Dagestan, you'll see everything I'm saying is true. Everything I'm saying is true. Also, performance enhancing drugs helps as well, but you still get my point. So yeah, I didn't want this to be a super long one, but I do want to actually see your comments for once today, without them being fucking, what's the word, censored from me. So let's have a look. Oh, what I'll also do as well, hang on a minute, I want to bring X up as well to see if there's anything cool on there while we're on. Shout out to Vindicator. I'm not sure if he's going live today or not, but I know that sometimes when he does, he's looking at for 12 p.m. So keep an eye out. I don't know if he is or not today. I've not spoken to him. I was going to speak to him yesterday. I was going to speak to a lot of people yesterday. If I didn't speak to you, if I said I was going to speak to you and didn't, I've been making so many videos. You've only seen some. I've thrown a lot away because I was making like just loads of it. I just suddenly went into a mode where I haven't done for years, where I just really started getting into the art of video making again, and I love it. I forgot how much I loved it, but it's taken up a lot of time, and I just, 4 o'clock yesterday, I just crashed. I just couldn't hold myself up anymore if I was asleep. So, yeah, you know, when I'm like that. I'm a bit OCD when I get into something. I'm full into it, or not at all. Don't forget Thursday, by the way. The first proper real, I mean, we did a pilot last week, but the first proper Untouchables episode with me and Vin. And it will be a regular thing every Thursday. I think it's going to be 12 p.m. every Thursday, unless we change anything. We will let you know. And I think we'll probably make sure we've got at least an episode in the bank, so that you guys can, well, so that if any reason we can't make an episode, there'll be something there. So we're going to try and do that, so that there's something every Thursday of us, you know, regardless of what's going on. So we're going to try and stick to that as well. It may be a bit rope at first, give us a chance to get going, but we're going to try and do that. So once we start this on Thursday, it's going to be an ongoing thing. It's not going to be a when we feel like it. It's going to be an ongoing thing on Thursdays from there. So watch out for that, because it'll be the first time I've done a regular podcast. Same for Vin. It's been very hard for me to stick to a time and stuff. But this is how we really build a really cool channel. And many of you asked for this podcast. Many of you keep saying that me and Vin have got the chemistry. We do, but it's because we feel completely comfortable. So therefore we can talk about anything, and we're just really comfortable. You need that. You need that if you're going to do a podcast with someone. Otherwise it's all forced. So, right, sorry. So let me have a look. Let me go from your comments, newest to oldest, right? Sam. Just having a look back. The last video was great, Tom. I'm glad you thought so. It's split, Jews. this is what I actually have been seeing, a split, but I don't fully understand it yet, and I don't want to talk about things I don't understand yet. I need to be to do a channel. I need to be coming from a position of, I won't say authority, but of knowledge. And this is why I'm kind of drawing a line here, because I realise that yes, there is something to investigate, but now I've got to that point, I really need to do that investigating and then come back with something, rather than do it as I go along, because I could go down the wrong road. I could make a lot of mistakes here, and I realise I've got to be very, very careful. But when I say it, go and research it, that's not an excuse to go quiet for 3 months about it. I just mean, you know, week 2 at a time to really spend some time on it. The Jews are at ideological war with themselves. See, I've been saying for ages, it's not just the Jews either. There are other powers that are going through ideological wars with themselves. I mean, look at us. So that doesn't surprise me, because that's what I've been seeing. That's the one thing I couldn't understand, was it looked like I was seeing patterns of self-destruction, sabotage, and then you realise, well, not if there's 2 factions inside. So then it becomes really confusing trying to hook the patterns you're seeing up with Saudi, Israel, and then what you're seeing with inside them as well. It's fucked up. And then you're trying to link that to other countries and the patterns you're seeing, and it becomes a little bit... It gets messy, but the lack of mess is what frightens me. The parts that don't get messy and look really uniform, really clean, those are the parts that get your attention. The messy parts don't. The other parts get your attention, because it's like, wow, that seems to fit all too conveniently, too well. Sorry, let me try and chat's all over the place on here. Hey to everybody. Hey, Stefan, great to see you. Craig, Carol, Teresa. Oh my God, anyone I've missed? Bluebell, Steve, obviously. Thanks for doing a great job as always, Steve. And I'm going back in the chat. I'm going back to the beginning, going back. Exorcism, Dibbles, I remember you from yesterday, you're a cool guy. Going back. Right, so I'm going to stop your first comments. An honest debate needs to be had about Zionism with anti-Semitic labels being added. Without anti-Semitic labels being added. I agree. And I think as well, from what I'm understanding, the more and more I look into it, I think there are also as well, and people may not like me saying this, but I think we should have, I think it's right, if you're going to talk about someone, they should also be at the table. And I think I've seen people from inside Israel that would be quite happy to knock it. And in fact, perhaps we need to, if it's possible, hear from both sides, see what's really, you know, but I don't know if that'll be possible. But I do think we can get a perspective on this from the inside. Many Jews are not for Zionism. Exactly why, one of the reasons why we can get inside info, because a lot of people are prepared to expose what's going on. Or for a lot of what is especially women who defend Islam. Yes. Yeah, I've seen it myself. I saw these videos just the other day, and it's been going on for the last few years now. But there's women in Scotland. I showed you that video. She's wearing the hijab, and she's going, "It's great being in Islam. You can, she said, you can you can basically ask your husband, if you don't want him to marry multiple wives, if he's big enough, he might agree with that and put it in the marriage contract that he won't have multiple wives. It's nice. And she's going about all these rights that she's pretending they've got. And she's in Scotland. She's white and she's Western, and she's got the freedom to do what she's doing. And she's got the freedom to walk away from it at any time. That virtue signalling cunt has ensured more years of suffering for the women that have no choice in other countries. But she's virtue signalling to keep those women bound and bagged, because the guys of Islam haven't worked out how to deal with a simple thing like insecurity yet, and jealousy. So their way to deal with it is to wrap the women up in bags. Let's not pretend it's got anything to do with religion, right? They can't fucking control their dicks. We've seen that. They can't even control them around children. So, yeah, let's wrap our women up in body bags. That way we don't have to fear anything happening. Sorry, what? That's the fucking truth that I see. Pincer movement. That's how it feels, right? Pincer movement. That's how it feels to me. When you start researching it, you see the patterns from history. Yes, history is normally where I'm strong in certain areas, and that's where I haven't gone back to yet. I haven't, and normally, I mean, I know about, obviously, Jews around the times that Romans flattened the Jewish temple. Dum-dums. So I know about those times, but not as a whole. Just reading. Orthodox Jews versus humanists. Okay. Nazi had a breeding program to kidnap white people for if they never mentioned this. 100% Tom. Blind support is extremism. No, right, I love this. This is from Dibbles again. Dibbles, I remember you from yesterday. You seem really, really cool guy. Blind support is extremism. No matter who you support. Fucking right. Hold the people you support to higher account than anybody else. Because these are people you trust to do the right thing for you. If they show any fucking signs of not doing that, you hold them to account. Don't make excuses for them. Look at what's going on in America at the moment. Candace Owens has the #1 podcast in America. She's losing her fucking mind, potentially in a lot of grief. She probably needs help. She's saying some crazy shit, and no one's stopping her. In fact, she's got a load of people around her who are enabling it, who could get her, I don't know, make her mentally worse, but also could be ending her career. And you've got all these people around her fanatically supporting her, believing everything that she said. It's crazy. And they'll follow her over the cliff. And it's the same as support for anybody. You have to be holding people to account. No more fucking blindly following people, hero worshipping people. No one's a hero. Everybody's a human being with faults, flaws, agendas. If we think like that, we need to be, holding people to account. Even Rupert Lowe. I like Rupert Lowe. You know, at the moment, I'd vote Restore, but hold the fucker to account anyway. Because at the end of the day, he's still going to be a leader in this country. His interests are still going to be slightly different from yours at the end of the day. So you need to be holding him to account. If he says he's going to do something, make sure he does it. If he doesn't, make sure you hold his feet to the fire. You know, no matter what happens. The painter was a piece of shit and technocrat occultist. They never mentioned this. The Israeli government has not banned Holy Week. It is restricted the number of people at all gatherings because of bombs and civilian targets. Sam talks about the bans. Oh, okay. Israel, Red Shield, Rothschilds. Christians are to this day the most persecuted from all sides. Are they? Do you think that? Christians are the most persecuted? I suppose if you look at the international map, I'd have to go away and look at that. I'm not that I'm saying you're wrong. You're wrong just because I want to be right. But I'd have to go away and look at that myself, because that's quite a claim. But I could see how it's possible. But I'd have to go and have a look at that one. Hungarian Jewish, well, that kind of makes even more sense about the World War II then. It split Jews and Christians. Bang on, Steve. Oh, my fucking legs hurt me, sorry. Good morning, Tom. Hey, Stefan. Good to see you, brother. So, can I ask you guys, while I'm trying to catch up your comments, how many of you believe that we can win the next election? How many of you just hope that we can win the next election? How many of you think we can avert civil war now? Is the hope gone up? Truly gone up? I mean, I know you, many of you are fully restored. Some of you aren't, but many of you are. But do you really truly believe that we can do it? Do you think it's a case of having to believe? Do you think it's a case of if we believe, then it will happen? Because it's about getting the numbers out and the voting. I mean, how do you see it, honestly? Because I want to know, genuinely. Because I can be a pessimist and a cynic. Gotta be honest. But I also can see the potential if the British people don't sit on their fucking asses like normal. If they stand up and actually do something, I do see the potential of an election win. Whereas it wouldn't happen. It would break every record. It just wouldn't happen. We know it wouldn't happen. But with this, I think most people see it the way I do. This is our last chance. Like, if we don't win this election, we'll have an even further left party that will bring us into Saudi, Europe, Israel, all of the places, and will finish selling us out. And by the time another election comes along, if it's even still like that, then it won't matter. So I think that a lot of people know this, and I think that that's why you've seen a massive shift towards Restore. I don't think a lot of those people would call themselves anything. I don't think they would give themselves labels. And I think that's what's frightening the establishment. The truth of it is, it's not about ethno-nationals or civic nationals going and surrounding these parties and people using those names to say, or to bash those parties. They're doing it deliberately, because at the end of the day, most people don't call themselves labels like that because they're too busy doing their daily jobs and other things. The truth of it is the average person has started pulling towards this party because they see it as their only hope. The average person that's not that into politics has started pulling towards this party. That's what scares them most. The casual voter is no longer casual. They tried to politicise everyone with Brexit, and it's backfiring on them now. Because now people are not relying on the news to find out what's going on. Rupert Lowe's emergent, I'd say, and the people are responding. Fuck the labels. That's just an agreement between us and the movement. But in the larger scale, on a national scale, this is just about people and the real people of this country. Just like Brexit, actually, the real people of this country are gravitating in the same direction again. We did it with Brexit, boys and girls, in terms of the vote. But this one we need to smash. We did it before. We may not have got the Brexit, but we did the vote. We could do it again. We can. But we all need to get off our ass and do it. All of us, every single one, every single vote is going to count. And you know what? I don't care if you don't vote Restore, but every single fucking right-wing vote is going to count, is my point. Every fucking vote lost to Reform is going to be a nightmare. I'll be honest with you. And again, I don't like telling people what to do with their votes, and I'm not telling people what to do with their votes. All I want to say is the Green Party has a very, you can laugh, you can whatever, they have a very realistic chance of winning the next election, maybe more realistic than we do, unless we make a change, unless we make sure that doesn't happen. And they are further left than Labour. They will go out and defend Gaza, for instance. For many of you, that will be distasteful. They will go even further with things like the online safety and all the rest. They will go far, far further. Starmer will have opened the door for them, and they will take it all the way. So we probably would be beyond saving by the end of the time they finish with us. And they will be, no matter whether they win or lose the next election, they will be in the race. They will be in the race. The only thing we can hope is that they keep going too far left for even a lot of people on the left, so that they won't vote for them and they go voting for the Labour Party, and that splits their vote. That's what we've got to hope for there. We do not want a mass turnout for the Greens. Hang on a second, guys. Oh, let me have a look over it. I do my research, my friend. Just bear with me. Like, again, I research a lot of different topics, from science to weather to computers to technology to AI. To, I can't know everything at once, but just give me a chance. I do read a lot of history and stuff like that, but a lot of the history, I started reading history because of politics. No, it wasn't. I was researching something else, and I realized everything goes through history. Like all roads lead to Rome. Everything leads to history. So it always ends up there. Or everything ends up at history because it teaches you so much. But just bear in mind, I'm trying to learn 1,000 subjects every day, and it is difficult. Many of you had a pre-knowledge and you're not running a podcast. I didn't have a pre-knowledge, and I'm trying to learn this on the go whilst using other knowledge that I do have, and so just patience with me. Always best to do your own research. Agree. Best way you can agree totally, and not rely on other fucking people. Good morning, Vin. Great to see you, buddy. Yeah, I agree, Stefan. I think it's politics in everyone's minds at the moment. Yeah, but do you not think, though, since Brexit, politics has been in everyone's minds? And again, I feel like that was orchestrated. We were all pulled into politics, I felt, for a reason. Not sure why. If people actually vote, then we have a chance of winning, no question. Comes from, I can't pronounce the whole name, but let's just say Jack. And well said, Jack. And I think that's the truth. If people sit down and look for other people to vote and hope it comes out for the best, it's not going to work out, because the left are going to come out in force. We've got to come out in force ourselves. Then we can win. We've got to stop talking about things and to do one small thing. One small thing. Stop using this. Get off our ass. Get down the polling station and stick a fucking vote in, instead of talking about it. If we do that, we'll be alright. Yep, Tom. Yep, correct, Tom. It's the people who haven't voted in years. The left are already maxed out on votes, which will be apparent in May. Yes, that's a good point. What Graham Moore showed last night shows you where these traitors started from. Same shit, different times. Reform has the vote at the moment. Rupert Lowe needs to be more active online, I think. Give him a chance. He's only just opened a party. He's had incoming flack. He's had a lot to get, he's had to get the party ratified, or whatever you want to call it, recognised. So, yeah, he's had to do all that. But I think you will, and I think you can see a lot more presence. Don't forget, he's a more traditional politician as well. So he's going to be mixing styles, I think. And I think that's a good thing, because you want a somewhat traditional politician in this case. You don't, in as much as you want someone with a bit of fucking class and knowing when to go online and knowing when not to. Do you know what I mean? Knowing when it looks cheap, for instance, because they don't seem to discriminate anymore. And you don't want to see a potential leader going on a podcast and looking like just a regular influencer. You know, he's far from that, and he needs to be kept away from all that. You know, I wouldn't have him on my show for that reason. I'm trying to catch up. Ben Shapiro's gone fucking mental, and that's what I mean. Ben Shapiro is another reason for inquiry. I mean, I know he's got a dog in the race, but he's gone fucking mental. Ben Shapiro's gone out and he's attacking everybody, and he has a guilt by association policy. You're either with me or you're against me, and he's tried this on a lot of people. He thought he was very, very popular in America, which he is, and so he tried the with me or against me strategy against various people, some other nutters as well. And they chose to be against him because he's that unlikable. I've always had time for him, but he's let his true colours out. Facts over feelings. Everybody's laughing at him for his facts over feelings comment because he's totally thrown the facts away for his feelings. And if you don't support Israel, you're not right wing, according to Ben Shapiro, amongst other things that he's thrown at people with real anger. And he's separated himself from friends and everything just because they haven't got on a knee and declared love for Israel. It's crazy. He's on a bender. He's on a fucking bender. He thinks everybody should just support Israel, no questions asked. Why? You wouldn't expect that. And, you know, someone with such a critical mind, you wouldn't expect that of anybody else in any other country. Why would you do that for Israel when you wouldn't do it? You name one other country we would do that for without questioning it. There isn't one. It's bullshit. It's, you know, and Ben Shapiro is in on it. And with Ben Shapiro, I do know that he was got into his job where he never had to look for a job. He never had to do anything because it was provided to him by the establishment. It's not hard to look that part up because I remember thinking, Jesus, at the time, this was years ago, how did he get started? Like, just to go straight from where he was to this. How did he manage that? And when I looked up, I was like, oh, okay, his people helped him. That was back then. I was like, fair enough, I get it. But I didn't realise what he would become. Years of inbreeding. That's to do with, what I was talking about earlier. Women to blame for men who can't control themselves. Exactly, Teresa. Exactly, Teresa. Love ritual sacrifices even on their own. It seems to me like there's a whole Hollywood thing there. And a lot of the people involved in the Hollywood thing, some of them aren't even Jewish. So it's not a Jewish thing, it's I don't know, it's a fucking cult thing, isn't it? If he does what he says, then we'll get our land back and then the true battle will begin. But I agree, Stefan. And we've got to be ready to step up. We've got to be ready to protect. We've got to be, as guys, we've got to be ready to protect. I don't mean go out and start fucking wars or anything. I don't mean dragging people down the streets. I mean protect. Because people won't like it. And Vin says about winning, yes, we can do. You win by believing longer than those believing longer than those who are your enemies. We win by demoralizing the enemy. I agree. And the thing about that, like I said to you the other day, that includes reform. I believe that we need to, in the right way, expose reform, show reform, keep losing their momentum, keep showing people what they are, so that we can squeeze them like an orange to get the votes out of them. But you won't get it by doing what someone did to me the other day, and I'm not even a reform voter, coming on and saying you reform nonce. Do you think that's going to get people to go and vote restore? Or do you think it's going to make them double down because they're sick of being spoken to like cunts? You've got to stop this. if you don't vote Restore, you're a traitor. You've got to stop saying that to people. Because I know people right now, and this is fact, multiple people who've told me in back channels that they actually support Restore, but they will not come out and say it because of the threats and because of the comments they've had towards them, saying if you don't do this, then this. And they're like me. Oh, you're going to tell me what to do? Fuck you. So that's not winning hearts and minds. That's pushing them away. We've got to win the hearts and minds. So if we can't think of something nice to say in that regard, don't say it, because you do a lot better by singing Restore's praises than you will by ripping someone else's beliefs to pieces. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've got to be very careful about this tribalism. It's not good. By the way, yesterday, you know, when the numbers were screwed yesterday, I know it's not loads, but for a channel this size, it's pretty good. Our maximum on was 52 at one moment. So we had a really good stream yesterday, but we just couldn't see it. So we were pulling good numbers for a channel this size. It was 52 highest concurrent viewers. So we did pretty good. Hopefully it's not going wrong today. I've tried it on a different connection, and also my whole YouTube studio and everything went down yesterday, and now it seems to be working. We never stop learning. The problem is some people never learn. Yeah, some people never learn. Some people they get to a certain age and they think, I've got all the knowledge I require. You see it a lot. Anybody that says, oh, I've learned enough. It's like, but what if your knowledge just becomes outdated? What if things change? What if? And these people, there's certain people out there that just get to a certain point where they go, no, I've got enough now. I don't need any more. It's like, you're in the way. You've become a dinosaur. You've become useless. If you're not prepared to be wrong, if you're not prepared to update, if you're not prepared to grow, you're useless. You're a dinosaur. You're a fucking statue, unable of moving. So those people are no good to us. You've got to be able to adapt and grow, because the times are changing quickly now. And you've got to adapt and change with them. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. Unfortunately, this is where we are in this current war. This is a war of speed as much as anything else. And you've got to keep up. And in that way, you've got to be, yeah, like I say, adaptable. So I'm sorry, a fucking chat keeps jumping. Right, I'm going to have to try and speed through this, because I'm not going to be able to answer everybody today. I'm getting more and more in my chats now, so it's becoming harder and harder to answer everybody, but I'll do my best to try and pick up the best ones I can. Biggest issue will be the MSM pushing the false narratives. Unfortunately, many of these employees left, even the ones act like they are on our side. So trouble is, so many don't know what's going on, still going on, too busy watching soaps. Is that true? Is that still true? Are they still doing that or not? I haven't had anything to do with television in years, so I don't know how many people are watching the soaps these days. In the old days, they'd get 17 million for an episode, but I don't know if that's still true. So here's a person here, so in the chat here, it says, I suppose I'm an example of the left being too far left for lefties, because I support Green's stance on taxing billionaires and Gaza, but their mad obsession with trans ideology puts me off. It's interesting, because in America, and thank you for coming on and saying that, in America, I think the trans movement is nearly dead, because it crashed every other part of their movement so badly that it's. And now, when you look in the courts in Britain as well, the courts are beginning to rule against trans people. So I think that they're going to fail with that. There's a massive regression now happening, where the trans just clashes against all the other letters they've created, and even they realise it. So they're backing off from that position. So you may find that disappears over time. I'm not sure yet. It depends. But we are on potentially the opposite end of getting rid of the trans thing, because it's gone up by thousands of percent and it's been pushed up. But we'll see. Some people will never give up. Agree, Stefan. Morning, Tom, everyone. Hey, Spawn. My main concern is how dirty the current establishment will get when it comes to restore. We know they will run a huge political smear campaign. I agree. But what I will point to as a bit of hope is look at what they tried to do with restore out of the gate. And look at what happened. Everybody went to them anyway. So I hope that will be, you know. Yeah, Scotland, Steve. The fucking socialist homeland. Sorry, I know I'm well behind, guys, but you spent all this time trying to speak to me. You knock it out of the park, Tom. Great to see you back with an audience, buddy. You deserve it. Oh, it's nice you've been. Vin's a fucking great bloke. He's helped me. I'm back on my feet when I'd given up. It's great. He's right. It's great to have a chat full. You know, great numbers yesterday. Chat full today. And it is great to be doing this again and trying to put effort into making videos again as well. You know, sorry I'm not so much today, but in terms of the production and that, it's been great. And Vindicator has been a massive part of that. So again, please go check out at Vindicator Strikes Back 8777 or just put Vindicator Strikes Back. You'll find him. It's a brilliant channel, brilliant bloke. And you know, I had a successful channel before, and then I just lost all belief in myself, and he helped give it back to me. You know, so yeah, great bloke. All right, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on the stream today. It is our last chance. I agree, Jack. Yeah, bookmark the Untouchables. Thanks, Steve. Nice one. So I was looking at that. That's cool. See, and you know what? This doesn't feel like a hardship to do lives like this. I don't get stuck. Oh, what do I say next? Or I'm very comfortable in front of the camera. Always used to be. When you lose your confidence, you don't have all that. You know. But now I'm back to being my old self. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh, you know, I'm automatically counting the battery in my head without having to think about it again. I'm thinking about the sound because I can see it right in front of me, so I don't have to sit and worry. Everything's automated again now. All I'm interested in is our conversation and keeping an eye on your conversation. I'm back where I used to be. And when I said don't give a fuck, please don't take that as disrespect. What I mean is, if you give too much of a fuck, you come out here and you're false, and you put on an act for your audience. You've got to have a bit of energy and a bit of passion. Otherwise, what's the point of being here? But my point being is, if you're really comfortable, you're more likely to tell the truth because you don't feel like you're putting on an act, you know? So, and I think that's why we've had such great conversations in the past, is because we're not judging each other, but also it's a relaxed conversation. So you know there's no canned message being rammed down the, you know. So yeah, and that works for us. It's what you call a chill stream, exactly. And they always used to be, you know. Occasionally we'd have people come in and we'd have debates, stuff like that, sure. But most of our streams were chill streams. That's very much true. And I went for an early one this morning because as we go into summer, I want to be aiming for more of a 9:30 to 10:30 time, because I really do like the summertime and it'll be where I'm sort of at my best. I will say to you that I've been making a lot of videos, but I don't know if I can sustain it because up in the production quality, I was able to do them very quickly, but they still didn't come out perfect. And once I start chasing that, so what I will say is that there may be that, like the walk and talks, if me having to do the studio version, there's going to be less walk and talks, but they're going to be higher quality. Lives like this, obviously the StreamYard thing, I'm not even go into that now, but I'm working on that. And so this is all kind of working out just fine. And then the other videos I'm making, again, just edited properly and done properly, you know. So things might take a little bit longer. Although I edited them very quickly the other day, but I'm just saying if they take a bit longer, sometimes editing can be difficult. I can't believe how quickly I did it the other day, but sometimes it can be difficult. So if it is, then there may not be as many videos coming out, but I'm going to try and at least get sort of what would be an average of one a day, even if it's 3 in one day, and then, you know, so we'll try our best. Yeah, Tom don't give a fuck, unlike Ben Shapiro. Yeah, Ben Shapiro is all emotions right now. Myself and Tom, this Thursday, Untouchables, yeah. I did advertise it earlier on, but I'll say it again. Thursday, 12 p.m, and this is going to be a fixed podcast. As I said earlier on, we're going to make sure, like, even if there's a week where we're having a bad week or whatever, we're going to have something in reserve. So there will be a podcast from us every week, every Thursday, 12 p.m. And it's something we haven't done as a fixed podcast, and this was asked for. So this Thursday, we're going for it. Join us, because it's going to be a journey, that podcast. It's going to be, like I say, it's going to be a show that goes on for however long it goes on for. So it's going to be a journey in itself. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be effing great. So, and it's going to be launching on Vindicator's channel, okay? So don't make that mistake of coming here, please. It's going to be launching on Vindicator's channel. Vindicator Strikes Back. And it's going to be awesome. And I think that's a great place to end it up. But yeah, it is chill stream. I'm glad you said that, because they always were. You know, we could talk about things. Sometimes drama comes up. Yeah, sometimes we have debates. People get angry. But generally speaking, it's the chill. It's the chill factor that works. Because then we could talk about anything without the emotion getting in the way. Passion, sure, but not emotion. And you can talk about anything. You know, you could talk about abortion. You could talk about anything you want without emotions getting in the way. And that's how you need to be with certain topics. You know, you can bring the emotion back when you finish, but emotion's a good driver, boy. I'm not saying emotion's a bad thing. Emotions, I'm just criticizing the people that said it wasn't useful. Emotion gets us to care. This is a good thing. I'm not the one that said, you know, facts over feelings was meant a certain way, so I don't hold any grudge against it. But people have taken it to mean something different, which is feelings are really rubbish. It's like, no. It's when you put your feelings in the way of your facts that they're a problem. But if you're using your feelings to drive you towards the facts, that's motivation. You know, so right. I don't do drama. I just speak about the things I've read, and I don't shoot the messenger. That's a good message to give. That's a good message to give. Right. See you guys Thursday. Whether I'm, like I say, I don't know what videos. If I'm going to make more videos before Thursday, probably will sneak one or two in. But again, I don't make content for the sake of making content. If I've not got something good to make you, then fuck it. Why waste your time? I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. That's what YouTube want, but I'm not doing it. But two, if I'm going to up the quality, then again, I want to be looking into things. So, like I say, you know me. I get impassioned, end up making about 3 or 4 videos. But if I don't, you know, there's only 2 reasons why. I've either got nothing to say at that moment, or I'm working on something. Take it easy. Thanks so much for joining me today. I love you all. If there's anybody I haven't shouted out, I apologise. Love you loads. Thanks for joining me. I am Tom Fury. This is Zero News. Share the risk, everybody. I'm calling it a day for now. Thanks so much for joining me.